You are now listening to Giami Journey Radio. This is a Heart of a Symbol production. Where we strive to blow up your old paradigms.
Mr. Diddy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Perform action. The most important thing to knowledge of oneself is one's purpose. The fulfillment of one's purpose is to cause a true joy and happiness. Do not become idle or live without promise. Although you may be still seeking your purpose, perform action. Never just sit around being unaware of the effects of your actions or your non-actions. The Tune Hip Hopper shows others through example what righteousness, love, justice, charity, and overstanding looks like. The Tune Hip Hopper is aware of how her actions teach society, such as hip hop knows that every society acts is a lesson performed in one for one's family, friend, or larger society. For every cause or act, there is an effect or a response. Be aware of what you cause to exist through your thinking and your actions. We are offsprings of our own actions. We actually create ourselves through action, which is motivated by purpose. So what's your purpose? If you lack direction or purpose in life, focus your mind upon the actions of a teacher. Pay attention to the way that your teacher performs an action and imitates those performances. Know that your teacher is impartial to success or failure. Show how your teacher is attached to the effects of the act. Feel how your teacher not only gives but sacrifices. The Tune Hip Hopper understands that even while acting, we do nothing at all. The Tune Hip Hopper knows that all is the great oneness deity, and it is only God that actually acts. When we are eating, breathing, talking, walking, working, driving, etc., we really do nothing at all. Only God, through nature, is moving, which gives us temporary appearance of movement. The Tune Hip Hopper does not act nor cause action when it is overstood that all actions is the divine performance of God. We are actually the effects of God in action.
Questions or comments where we read so far? Sound pretty good.
Right. I mean, I'm stuck on only God through nature is moving, which gives us the temporary appearance of movement. So we think we're doing something, but we ain't even doing nothing at all.
It's really God.
Right.
And Lucy, they described it as time. Without time, you can't tell. Like you're just moving at infinity, everything is stuck. Like you can't see nothing. It's too fast. It's moving too slow. You can't see nothing because of gravity.
Talk up.
Time or whatever. We got the appearance of everything moving at our speed because of time. Without time, God, as we say,
All of our actions are, in a sense, God expressing itself through us, right? Something divine. So all of our actions, that's dope. The great one is deity.
Mm.
I mean, man, this gets back with, because this always brings us back to our traditional beliefs in the Creator. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like in traditional, in our traditional systems, God was expressed in everything. So when I was hunting an animal, I was hunting God. When I was looking for the herbs, I was, in a sense, searching for God. And it was that divine that spoke with me and taught me how to use what I acquired. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's a great way to interact with the world. That's, you know.
Well, what I hear in that verse is not that we're not doing nothing, but in fact, aside from God, we can do no thing. And so in God we live, we move, and we have our being. And so since our very existence is within God, and Him is what we do, our Father, our Creator, through the creating, through the Creator. So it's not as if we're not doing anything. We are doing, and we are being, and we are existing. But with Him, as you said, when you was doing all that you was doing, you were doing it and with and through God. And so therein lies our action. It is in God, and we are doing. And if when we cease to do, then we rest. You know, because it's in Him we have our being. So we're doing for God, our Creator, our Master Creator. Really Emily.
Y'all gonna have to come close because y'all whispering, man. The mic ain't here. We got brothers dropping stuff. Lucy. We got
Right. Breaking it
we got
down.
Miss Gibson dropping knowledge.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Y'all all the way over there, and people out here might need to hear your words. So remember, we're acting through God, and when we can't be heard, we're in a sense robbing God. So let's make sure we share our gifts. Anything else before we move forward? You want to share something from your book? Nasty Man? No, I'm just joking. Go ahead.
You don't want anything from this book.
Are you on verse 6?
Yep.
Movement in a similar way. Forces, winds, blow against us and push us towards this circumstance or that circumstance. We must learn to navigate the forces, winds of life toward the fulfillment of our life's purpose. However, such navigation has more to do with allowing the force to carry you without you getting in your own way. Spiritual navigation has to do with allowing God to guide your life. It's about God's leadership in your life. Some people regard God's leadership in their lives as a choice. They say, I now give my life to God, as if they had the authority to do such a thing. The leadership of God in your life is not a choice. It is the truth. It's a realization, an awakening, a new awareness, a sense of giving up and letting go on your part. The leadership of God is happening now. It is you who must realize this by releasing your fears, doubts, and disbeliefs about your own God force. We must get in harmony with God, what God is already doing. We must get in harmony with what God is already doing in our lives. Know this: when our will is not the will of our God, we naturally begin to experience pain and suffering. The will of our God is for hip-hoppers to be joyous, at peace, and prosperous. Our God's will is occurring long before we come to realize it. And those things which happens against us are our will are usually for our own good. For God sustains life itself. You do not choose God, God chooses you. We need to talk and we need to keep going. You do not choose God, God chooses you. You know, I mean, anybody ever had the experience where it was something that you had to do, you didn't feel like doing it, and on the way to doing it or in the act of doing it, something divine happened? Like you might have ran into somebody that you really needed to meet, or somebody that you really needed to talk to. Or you might have ran into that one person that became that true friend, or you got an opportunity that you didn't even know existed. You know what I'm saying? I mean, all of us experience stuff like that, but we don't call it what it is. You know what I'm saying? But hey, it is what it is, right?
I have one example that I'll share. Okay. I had to take. Well, Shmiki got a little bit to do with this. I had to take. Oh, I said okay. I had to take this person somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
The person was very trying, and we had made an agreement that we kind of take care of this person.
Mm-hmm.
But the gist of the story, I think there was a gang. I lived in the short north. I think I had to take her way up north. Do you mind if we could stop here? Can we go here and go here? And I'm like, trying to be cool.
Right.
So we had stopped at a spot, and there was a man and somebody, and I asked them where it was. I think we turned following Walmart. It was when the Walmart on East Main was me. And they was like, no, we don't know where it is, but God bless you. So I got mad. I was really mad. I'm like, God got nothing to do with this. I'm about to run out of gas. I got the lady in the car. She driving me. I was pissed. So we stopped to ask someone else, and then they said something else, and I was like, I was about to, just flip. Just like, okay, this is just too much. I just want to get home. I think there was also an OSU game that backed the traffic out. So we had to literally take the street from where the game started from up by your house to all the way. I was just like, wow. Make a long story short, we decided to, I think this was on Broad, we stopped at a gas station to ask for direction. I'm pulling out, and my son's in the back. He's like, that looks like Aunt Lisa. I said, Aunt Lisa. I'm like, no, it's not. And something just said, some spirit said, just see if it's your sister. So I back up. Sure enough, it's my sister. She blew back like somebody slipped her something in her drink, and she was blew back behind the wheel. So I'm like, Lisa, what is you doing? Like, she like, oh, I can't, like, she was, somebody had given her something. She could not move. And it was just an amazing testament of how the Most High works. What if my sister tried to drive? She couldn't hold her head up. You know what I'm saying? What if my son didn't see her? If I hadn't agreed to take the sister, we hadn't have been doing the work of the Most High at that particular moment in time. Those things that I didn't want to do. I didn't want to be bothered. I didn't have the gas to do it. At least I thought I didn't. At that point in that moment in time, had I not seen my sister there when she was in trouble and needed help, had I not followed, just been going along. And I would say it wasn't necessarily willing, but I do listen to the Most High. So I just always think about that example.
Right. We always run into those, man. I mean, I had numerous occasions where I was somewhere where I didn't think I needed to be, and I would run into somebody that basically would save my life, or I saved their life. Or I mean, it's just crazy how the universe works. And this is a matter of us developing that, like he said, knowing that we got divine navigation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And sometimes the divine navigation requires us to take the long way around so that we could really, really see what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why, like I said, I call my radio station Giami Journey, because I'm learning to embrace the journey. You know what I'm saying? Because it ain't the destination that's important. It's the path to getting to the destination. You know what I'm saying? So that's powerful piece. Who want to read next?
Because life is sustained by God. Every step of the papa should be performed by attuned hip-hop escapes the cycles of cause and effect, because the attuned hip-hop causes nothing and is detached from everything. Only God is moving, acting, and speaking. To perform difficult activities, knowing this, E.L. Magoon once said, existence was given us for action rather than indulging in aimless compilation. Our worth is determined by the good deeds we do rather than by the fine emotions we have. They greatly mistake who suppose that God cares for no other pursuit in devotion.
Warm action. That was a good one. The hip hopper should be performed as a way because life is sustained by God. Every act of the hip hopper should be performed as a tribute and sacrifice to God.
It's not fair. I don't necessarily want to do that. Well, I don't even think we have a choice in it.
But
whoa.
If it does not hurt, it's not a sacrifice. I mean, that's the truth of the matter. A lot of people think that they're sacrificing when, in fact, you're giving just, you leave off just enough. Sacrifice requires some type of suffering, or it's not a sacrifice. Like you driving on a half tank of gas, all right? You paid your sacrifice. You dealing with somebody yapping in your ear, somebody, little do you know, you've been led to the salvation of somebody you love. That's dope.
I agree.
That's dope. So now, imagine if we could start developing a mind state, knowing that all the hardships that we have went through. I mean, because think about it, we wouldn't be in this room right now if all of us didn't have our own personal, excuse my language, bullshit that we've been going through. You understand? I mean, and imagine how, and this is what's crazy, and this is the saddest part to me. But truly imagine how boring life would be with all this bullshit we go through.
You saying if we don't have it?
If we don't have it.
Without it.
Shit. Sorry, guys. I can find some entertainment. Like, for real.
But most entertainment, but think about this. Most of the entertainment we enjoy the most comes from other people's pain.
That might be the masses of the people, but I am not that person, I promise.
All right, name an artist. Name one of your favorite artists.
What you mean, visual artist?
Whatever. Any artist. Anything that you consider entertainment. Name one of your favorite persons.
I don't know. I don't know.
So, all right, what I'm trying to say is that a lot of the art flows from the pain of the artist. Them being able to take what they have gone through in life and express it on paper. But if there was no trials and no tribulations, most of the stuff you wouldn't be able to feel. The stuff that we feel is, I mean, one of the reasons that some of these boys is really hitting with our kids is because they're talking something that these kids can feel. You know what I'm saying? I got a nice beat, and then you listen to some of the stuff on, even though they ain't go through it, it captures their imagination. You know what I'm saying? But then these same people start falling off when they can no longer get that because they're no longer experiencing it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got $3 million, now you rapping about the harshness of the hood. You ain't in the hood no more. I can't feel you. So. But, let's move on. Perform prayer.
Both regularly and randomly raise your word to God in prayer. Make time to pray. Take time to pray. Pray in the shower. Pray while driving. Pray while walking, working, etc. Thank God often and find peace in the security of God's presence. Do not concentrate on the proper words to say. Focus more upon expressing the joys, questions, cries, and groans of your own heart. Prayer is relaxing. It lowers one's heart rate and blood pressure. For example, templates. Prayer is not ritualistic or repetitive speech. Do not posture before God. Allow your heart to cry out to God with God, for it is the sincere cry of the heart in joy or in sadness that attracts the response of the Great Spirit, and no word. Know through righteous living that you are loved and cared for, and that your God will always make a way for you. Know in your heart that God already sees what you need. So when you pray, thank God for satisfying your needs in advance. Thank your God for the finished work, where everything already exists and is already available to you now. It is only your doubts that block or deny the existence of everything happening to you at once, so that out of your own fears or chaos, you can bring order to your world. When praying, simply allow things to happen by ceasing your doubt and or your fear of them happening. Stop doubting or denying the existence of those things that you want. Everything you need already exists in your reality. Stop doubting or denying that those things that you desire are separate and distant from your immediate reality. Simply allow them to exist in your world. Let there be this and let there be that. Expect what you want in prayer. However, it is important to remember that God is an exact God. Everything that you need, you already have. Most of the time, we simply are not looking clearly enough into our own environment. Sometimes we also become convinced of the importance of things that we really don't need. Be careful. With the whole heart, repeat the following prayer regularly. Great and Holy Spirit, I am the light of my world. The love that guides me. Enter now into this temple, fulfilling the purpose for which it was built. I am clean and unafraid. Great Spirit, keep my foot upon the path of holiness, that I may give without watching the cost and endure without stress. I am in your care and your protection, but when my eyes cannot see a way, your love reveals the obvious, and I am saved again. There it is.
Questions, comments? I guess he said enough.
Right.
Say this with your whole heart. Feel it, see it, believe it, and know it. Use your heart and expect God's response. Move in this faith. But remember, your prayers are more likely to be answered when your prayer requests are also in harmony with your being, your intentions, your true thoughts and actions. Know this. Hip-hoppers do not always get what they want in prayer. Most of the time they will receive exactly who they are in life. Whoa. Hold on. All right, let's come back to that one. For it is who you are that shall determine what you shall receive in prayer. You see what you believe, and you achieve what you perceive. You get what you expect and respect. Man. You can only attract that which you really are. Therefore, care not for what the world believes is valuable, and care not for how things may appear to be to your intellect. Recognize only the oneness and simply allow things to come to you. Everything you want is already with you now. Your reality is really a world of possibilities. You decide what comes in and out of your reality based upon your level of expectancy. When praying, you not only expect God, but you also respect God. Prayer proves one's respect for God, and you get more of what you respect. Therefore, after you have opened your door of respectancy, open your door of expectancy. Be still and allow things to happen. This will take courage, because it is your own fears and disbeliefs that keep all of the chaos of actual reality away from your conscious awareness. This is what prayer is all about. It's about access, not excess. Prayer is a special language humans use to communicate to the guiding force in their lives. Know this. The prayer of the attuned hip-hopper has to do with spiritually accessing the productive resources and circumstances that are already available to oneself. The attuned hip-hopper prays, communicates with God, and notice how I am writing this. The attuned hip-hopper prays with God and not to God. When you pray to God, there's a distance between you and God. In a way, your prayer must still reach God, but when you pray with God, there is no distance, no space, no intervals of time. Your prayer request can happen instantly. No questions,
The
comments.
one, Karis won.
Wow. I got it like
I think in that, what he's saying is, God says that I would above all things that you prosper, be in good health, even as your soul prospers. And so if you know these things that God will for you, you don't have to pray those prayers that we pray. Oh God, would you? Oh God, please. Oh God, can you? Oh God, I would like to have. And that's in that access and not access. And so we're in tune with God. And so we're praying with God on the same plane as God is in my opinion, in the instance that God is love, and every good and perfect gift is coming down from heaven above already. We already have these things, and so we access them from the universe because God is. And so the things that we need, we want, they already are. And so we speak them and we channel ourselves where God is. And so now it's not here, but we're here with God as one, as he intended us to be, not above him, but with him, and his desires and the things that he already have set in place for us who love him. And so I think that's kind of in the vein of praying with him.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Co-creators.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we have to also understand the heart of God and his love toward us. And I think in mankind, we demean ourselves in that. And then we think we're so bad and we're so wretched and we're so undeserving, and all that is true. But the love of God surpasses all of that, and his love for us, And so once we channel up the fact that, we are as children bad, but God, like as we love our children, still loves us, and he wishes and wills good things for us, even though we are sometimes displeasing to him.
Hard-headed.
Yeah.
Denying.
Exactly.
Like my daughter. My daughter. Hard-headed.
But there's nothing that you would deny her. You don't will any ill against her. You want her to prosper.
I was just joking.
You want her to be, have all good things. You want her to live a life of prosperity, liberty, and fullness and love. And that's what God, and in that, those things that bring us the desires of our hearts, basically. And you want her, the desires of her heart, you would want. And so if we want those things, as the word tell us, how much more so would our God want those things for us? And so we have to start praying as he's praying, and desiring as he's already desired for us, that we can walk in that, I believe. And then that's when we're walking in the fullness of life.
But I'm going off of, not the, this, or it is who you are that shall determine what you will receive in prayer. I think that is like truly deep. Where it's God knows us before we even know ourselves. But there are certain things like, it's even us real in our children. Like you might give this child a gift, and then you got that. Well, I didn't get it. Wasn't because I know. As a parent, I'm still associating myself with the Creator, God. I'm giving this child something that it actually needs. Yeah, the others may not have needed, but I'm going off of who you are.
And I'm thinking not even needed.
If you think of it in that essence, I know we've all have received things from God that it was strictly for us.
But what if you can't? God, I know our Father, just as we do our children, know who can handle it. You know what I mean? And a time in which they can handle that, because some things, as he was saying to, Prophet here, that we are intimidated by success. And some people, when they get success, they get death with it because they can't handle that success. And I believe God in his love knows when to issue each child, their abundance because of the maturity level that they're walking in.
But a hope for me, what's that quote again? We get what we get in prayer what we are.
Yeah.
Ooh.
We can see that all around us.
Woo!
I think Just a mindset.
Ooh.
We get what we are. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, so some of the
that
things
goes
we.
back to much is given, much is required.
Mm-hmm.
And that mental stability.
But even, I mean, we can even look at some of the people that have a lot, or
I
we
don't think
consider
it means right.
right.
There you go.
We consider having a lot
Right.
that are still miserable.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You want more misery, I'll give you more misery. I remember a story like that. There's a story about a monkey. Did I tell y'all the story about the monkey? Monkey. It was an African woman. She walking. She got a jar of honey on her head. She walking. She stub her toe, trip, and the jar falls down and spills all the honey. It breaks and spills all the honey. And the woman starts screaming, "Oh misery! Oh misery! Oh misery!" Right? And she leaves because she can't pick up none of the stuff. So the monkey come down and taste the honey. He'd be like, "Oh man, this misery is good. This misery is great. This misery is magnificent. I'm going to go to God and ask for some more misery." So the monkey climbed the tree of life, and he climbs all the way up to God. He's like, "God, I just tasted some misery, and I want you to give me misery." So God gave him a big bag and said, "This is all the misery that you want. All you got to do is go out. You need to go out to the middle of the desert. Don't open it till you get to the middle of the desert. And when you open it, you're going to have all the misery you want." So the monkey follows the instructions. Walk out with the bag, put it in the middle of the desert, make sure nobody is around so he get all the misery he wants. He opens it, and out of the bag comes 3 growling dogs, and they chasing him, and they trying to eat him up. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, a tree grows, and the monkey jumps up in the tree. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the question is, who put the tree there? You know what I'm saying? And the answer is, God put the tree there because God only gives us what we can handle. The monkey didn't know what he was praying for. He thought it was called misery. It tasted good to him. He asked for it, like a lot of us. We ask for what we think we want. And when we get it, you know, we only get what we are. And what we, in a sense, because he
Well,
keeps.
that's what they say. Be careful what you ask for.
Be careful what you
Just
ask for.
might get it.
Our ancestors, I mean, if you look at a lot of our myths, a lot of our tales, it's all about us being right and exact in what we ask our higher power for, by whatever name you call it. Because if you're not careful, you may get it. And in getting it, I mean, many of us, we grew up with friends who got everything that they wanted. But they are no longer with us because one of those gifts helped them take themselves up out the game. Totally. You know? We get what we are. So if we're selfish, we get more opportunities to be selfish.
I love when it talks about when you pray with God. And that just kind of reminds me of growing up watching those people when words was like not enough and they just had to hum. You know what I'm saying? Like they just got in tune and they got in that space. Everybody felt it too. Just kind of got in that space and there was communing with the Creator, which I think is a beautiful thing. So,
Beautiful.
and then he talked about the space. You know, that you have that distance of kind of like waiting, yearning, and like, oh, I hope that the Creator hear my, you know, cries as opposed to
The Creator is right here.
Yeah.
Right here amongst us.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, we kind of rob ourselves by putting that artificial distance there.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's a key piece of the prayer piece for me. It's like we have been taught that there's a distance between us and God.
Mm-hmm.
A distance that our prayer have to go through. So it takes time for the prayer to go up wherever God is and for it to be listened to, and it operates like one of these businesses where you have to go through requests. You know what I'm saying? It's like it goes through the angel of organizing prayers, and it goes to the angel of disorganizing prayers, and the angel of selecting prayers, and finally it gets to God, and then by that time you don't forgot what you prayed for. You know what I'm saying? But eliminating that distance, that false distance that we place between us and that divine peace that's already in us. So, I mean, that's a powerful piece, praying with God rather than praying to God. So, where was we at?
When
Oh.
you pray, thank God and know the blessing has already been granted, and that it must only be revealed to you through you. Thank God for what you already have and ask to always be in light of God's plan. You always want your prayer request to be in harmony with God. Sometimes God will give you your request only to show you how useless and silly your needed request actually was. Before you ask about what you want, ask first to know what God wants. God is concerned with human development. So when you pray for yourself, sincerely pray for others, even those people that you do not personally know or do not even personally like. The heart that can sincerely do that is always heard by God. Remember, God is praying with you. The Great Spirit always answers all prayers. No prayer goes unanswered. For if you are truly not in possession of that which you are praying for, God will truly provide it. But if you already possess that which you prayed for, God will not answer your request twice. Therefore, if your prayer goes unanswered, either you are being protected from your own ignorance or you already have that which you are praying for and you simply have not comprehended yet.
Wow. Wow.
Wow.
Either way, you a fool. You don't know you got it, or you don't know you don't need
know
it.
you got it, and you don't know how to work
all
it.
the time, and you, oh wow. I mean,
Damn.
that's
Dang.
big.
And all of us is old enough to. I think all of us in this room old enough to have experienced that.
Right.
I think we're experiencing it right the hell now.
Right now, yeah, we
Oops.
said we did.
We just talked about it.
Mm. That's true.
We just talked about it.
Mm. I don't know what she's talking about. Those people out there
No.
listening.
He
But
knows
the hot
exactly.
channel had these type of problems. So
Oh wow.
we must remember to pray that we may see the solutions that we already have, and always thank God for the protection that we cannot see.
Mm.
For when you pray, you do not always get what you pray for. Most of the time, you actually get exactly what you need. Those things that you don't have, you don't need. Those places that you can't go are also dangerous for you. Trust the love of the Great Spirit. Remember, all prayers are answered. The question is, are you in the environment or awareness of your answered prayer? Many people receive their answered prayer many times and simply don't see it because they are expecting it to come from a familiar place or source. Therefore, as attuned hip-hoppers, we must be open and receptive to the unexpected activities of God. We must be willing to identify and retrieve our blessings and answer prayers from, through, and in unconventional, unexpected, and beyond normal circumstances, sources, and places. Remember, you are speaking with God when you earnestly pray, and your God has an infinite amount of ways to deliver to you your desire of your heart. The challenge for many is that they reduce God to their own understanding, which blinds them from seeing God for real. You cannot ask an infinite source to communicate back to you in only one way, on one day, through one person or one thing. I got a story for that one, right? All right. I had a son. My son chose to be a blood. All right. Go through all the story. One day, he came to me, and I was talking about his decision to indulge in it. I said, you've been around me a majority of your life. You choose you want to be a blood, and I go on and respect that, but I gave you information, I'm saying, you've been involved with the movement that we've been building on for years, but you choosing this. But I got a question for you. You a blood, right? You don't say nothing with blue in it. You won't even say the B. Even when he wrote letters to me, the B would be crossed out. So I said, what if God decided to communicate with you in all blue? Would you receive the message? So he went out, did some dumb shit, excuse my language, went to jail, and I received a letter from him from jail saying that he had thought about my question. I won't go into what the answer is, but oftentimes, like I said, because we try to limit God to how we see the world, we blind ourselves to the many different ways in which God will communicate with us. You know what I'm saying? God might come through our little prejudices. You know what I'm saying? Because his was blue. But it might come through us through all types of, you know what I'm saying? I might be homophobic. And the very answer to my prayer might be coming out the mouth of somebody that might be a homosexual. You know what I'm saying? I might have a distinct hate for black women, but the very answer to my prayer may come from the words or the deeds of a black woman. You know what I'm saying? And it's like it's crazy how we try to, we almost limit what God can do in our lives by setting God's limits according to our limits, and we become unreceptive. I'm done.
Well, as he was saying, God is a spirit, and we must open up our spirits to partake with God, because our flesh can in no way please God and can no way commune on a spiritual realm. So it's our spirit to spirit that imparts with God. So if we're not taken in through the spirit and limiting God, then we will miss God. We're going to miss God, because we're looking somewhere else when God is, just like you were saying, the lady was da-da-da-da, and you kind of looking at, her, and that's how we walk, but you were still open and willing to go ahead through love. Mm-hmm. And that's what I wanted to say earlier. It's love that like you said, the pain and the hurt, but on the flip side, that is love. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you did have love in your heart, mm-hmm. and the compassion to she was getting on your last available nerve, mm-hmm. and wasn't another one available, but you know what I'm saying? But you pressed on,
You are
and
now
in
listening
that God
to
used
Gianni
that heart of
Journey
love
Radio.
that you still shed it toward that lady in order to basically save
This
your
is a
sister.
Heart of a Symbol
And he already
production.
knew that you would, though. That's because he knows each and every one of us,
Where we
even more than we know
strive to
ourselves.
blow up your old paradigm.
That text that when we were saying that each one already has, it's beautiful how you tie that together, how Creator already knows each one. Yeah.
And we can't limit, we have to, when we open up our spirit, we open up a whole lot of other windows and allow God to come into our lives,
Mm-hmm.
We as a people,
Especially if we open. if you open. But if you not, we be missing it, man. We be missing it.
Yeah.
Major opportunities.
And see, with your son, he probably was hardening his heart, because like you said, if they come in on a B, I don't want, well, actually the C, because the creps are the blues and the B's are the bloods. Mm-hmm. But I knew what you was talking about.
My fault to C.
But yeah, I knew what you was talking about. But it's if is everything got to be B, you can't see no C nothing,
Right.
And that's still that mindset.
That's
though.
that limited mindset.
It's still that mindset, and then that's that maturity too that we were speaking about. That he was speaking about, that on each level we get our kids things, So he had to mature. He had to go through some things, We
was talking about that before you came in. Yeah.
Right.
My fault. C, y'all. It wasn't C. It was
Yeah,
C,
we knew what
not
you was
B.
talking
Right.
about.
So hopefully those out there that's gonna be hating you got it all wrong.
Yeah,
I'm not involved. I'm not involved with that game banging.
Let them know they all wrong
right.
thinking like that too.
Right, exactly.
I had the
Get it
ability to
wrong.
make all that disappear in my house. They come in my house. I got Chris Bloods, folks, all that. Y'all just, you up on the flag of Gianni. I beat all y'all asses. That was my
We the purple
philosophy.
nation up in our house.
You
We
know what I'm
mixing
saying?
all the colors. I
So-
ain't the purple nation. Now, we don't even know what that. Oh, okay, thank you.
So, where was we at? Anything else? What's up, Asaru? Why you ain't bring the camera, man?
It's in my bag.
Get it out. Wake up.
Somebody pick up where we left off at.
Where did we leave?
Is it right here? Remember?
God is spirit. Is
Remember,
that
you are speaking with God when you are speaking with God when you earnestly pray, and your God has an infinite amount of ways to deliver to you the desires of your heart. The challenge for many is that they reduce God to their own understanding, which blinds them from seeing God for real. You cannot ask an infinite source to communicate back to you in only one way. on one day through one person or one thing. God is spirit, and to communicate to spirit, you yourself must become spirit. As spirit beings operating effortlessly in the spirit realm, you can then see God and God's activity, ultimately leading to your fulfillment. So when you pray or communicate with God, seek understanding into the mind of God, the will of God, and the plan of God. Your God already has your best interest in mind. Everything is already working in your favor. The challenge for you is to really believe this. Do you truly perceive and expect God's love and care? When you pray, perform your prayer in faith, act upon them, perform prayer. Well put, KRS. One. All right, dude. So, y'all want to do one more or what? Well, this one might be a little bit long because this is perform hip hop.
Wow.
On that, this whole passage, it just reads Bible to me. and you know, I hear him saying God, because what that last passage reminds me of is in Jeremiah, when God speaks to Jeremiah 29:12, and he says that I know the plans and the thoughts that I have for you. Plans to bless you, to prosper you, and to give you a future with a bright hope. I mean, and that goes back even to what we were talking about, what God wants for us, and him talking about, you know, lining yourself up with God. I mean, listen to God. You know, I know the plans and the thoughts that I have for you. Now, I know you got grown and you got your own plans and thoughts, you know, you think you know your own way, but that way leads to utter destruction. He said, I know the plans. And what? It's to give you a hope with a bright future, to bless you and to prosper you. So you should open up your, you know, like you were saying, you want to be rich, and yeah, that's a whole nother story, because yeah, a lot of us, like you say, you know, but we think we want to be rich, you know, millionaires, but you know, because if we did, we would definitely acknowledge God in all our ways and let him direct our paths. But we are, you know, we're fearful, as I believe, mankind in many things, especially the spirit, especially the spirit realm, and in the spirit realm lies all of our prosperity, our hope, and our love.
I'm so proud of him for writing this book, and thankful that Hatim, my brother, I'm sorry, I can't remember whoever brought it to. I know you were, you know, we were talking about just for him doing it, and it's like the Bible.
Got a lot of truth in it.
Yeah, like the Bible is its own. You know, I guess like people view the Bible, or some people. It's just on point, just for like where I am in my life, as is everybody. I think every time we come, it strengthens us to do whatever it is that we need to do. And then it's such a compliment to what the youth are reading, which is Hip Hop Decoded. And talk about Decoded like this, I'm like, man, if y'all love hip hop, y'all tired of the way things are going and how people are abusing its name, read the gospel of hip hop.
That's a free commercial. We won't charge you a dime, KRS. You know what I'm saying? Just come do a speaking engagement. Hey, you got that free commercial.
And then see who you mad at. Because he brings it right back to us and what we should be doing. And
well, some of us, what he's highlighting what some of us have been doing.
Right. True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
And putting into words, because a lot of times you read books or you hear people speak, and they're saying things that you already knew that you might not have been able to voice. You know what I'm saying? He took something and he put it in a way, because hip hop was always like a spiritual journey for me. I mean, it's like it was. You know what I'm saying? I would hear certain MCs, and I would actually, in a sense, be able to commune with the spirit through listening to these MCs. You know what I'm saying? Because I could see that divine peace. I mean, how did you like some of the terms and words, the way they was put together? Dude, how did you come across that? You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like
he got into the Most High that's within him and gave birth to this, like Queen of Food, like many of those texts that touch us. Just like, wow.
You got something you want to say? You better stop raising your hand, boy.
It's a quote connected to a Spirit for Our Own Light by Marianne Williamson. Our deepest fear is that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be? Brilliant and gorgeous, talented and famous. Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There's nothing enlightened about shrinking so that people won't feel insecure around you. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in all of us. And when we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others. I remember I was in 6th or 7th grade. My teacher, we was being bad the whole, recess. My teacher made us stand there for the whole recess, 30, 40 minutes, an hour or so, standing in line saying, I didn't know why he was saying it, but now I see why he said that to me over and over and over. And that same poem every time I
That's Nelson Mandela.
Because that makes me remember like what you were saying last week. It's almost like those very words.
I probably stole them. I don't
know. You might have.
That's how it's not even
it's repetition. It's not learning. So
but that's what you were saying. How you were speaking and telling them like being minute is not gonna. And like we owe the world. You know what I'm saying?
We owe the
give
world.
ourselves. I mean, that's literally what you were saying last week, and I know because it was like piercing little parts of me, you know, so I remember that. You might have stole it, you know, and then being wise, you know, and you hear things over and over, it gets embedded in us, you know, so you spewed it out because it was already down in there, but that should have been read again, you know, slower, because that's truth, you know.
That was Nelson Mandela's speech when he was released, I think. That was
powerful.
So we already got one more. We got one more part to do, and we done with the performance.
Then we get to the law.
Then we get to H Law. So y'all want to finish perform hip hop? It's 9 pages.
Wow. I think we need to hold it.
All right.
Let's marinate this.
All right. So
pray.
Like
action.
Or not. Yeah, you're right.
We'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. We're gonna conclude this session. Anybody got any last words before I go on and let them vibe out?
Changes things.
And I would like to say that everyone has a beautiful bright light within that needs to, you know, be revealed and shine, you know, and don't cap it.
So we're using the gospel hip hop by KRS-One. We are in the Divine Performances, and we got one more to read. So join us in the next 2 weeks as we go through this. Next 2 weeks. Well, we're gonna be going camping. So those that's interested in going camping with us, because we might have to do a session out on a camping trip, because I think that's gonna fall on either the weekend for the youth, or it's gonna fall on whichever weekend it falls on. We might need to bring the books out to the woods. For those that's not doing their amblature, because I ain't had nobody say they want to do amblature.
No, it'll be the 9th, May 9th.
Oh, okay. So, all right. So we're gonna go out, Mansoor. I'm gonna let the stand up by Mr. Deity play and take us on out. And with that, we say peace.
Mr. Deity.
You are now listening